What's going on, my riders and gliders? It's your boy Mikey Mike back here with another video for you guys. Today we're going to be installing the Kemimoto 1-inch lowering bracket. So as some of you guys may already know, I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm only standing 5'4". I'm not able to flat foot the Navi at all, which is not a problem for me. I've gotten used to riding with the 1 foot down method. You know, when I come to a stop, I just use 1 foot to put on the floor to just stabilize me, and I've gotten pretty used to that. However, I did notice that this came out not too long ago. It's a lowering bracket, obviously to lower your Navi by 1 inch. So all it's going to do is just going to angle your rear shock more. So the shock's going to go here versus here. So it's going to give you more of a angled look to the shock, dropping you by 1 inch. Now I don't really need this. Like I said, I've gotten used to it already by now. But I do know there's a lot of folks who get a shorter shock and it's still too tall for them. So this is where this could come into play. So we're going to install it, see how it looks, and then we'll take it from there. So first impressions, it feels pretty good, feels solid, looks sleek. This does come in at $50 price point. I think the sweet spot would have been 40 bucks in my opinion, but that's up for debate. So if anybody has this, tell me what you guys think of the quality, fit, and finish. I think it's pretty decent. Feels good, looks good. Nice little shine to it. Alright guys, so this is what you get in the package. You get your instructions. Obviously the lowering bracket. Got a nut and then 2 bolts. Alright, so the first bolt's gonna go right there. Second bolt, it's a longer, skinnier one. It's gonna go on the bottom here. And then your stock bolt from your shock is actually gonna go on this right here, which is where your shock will attach. This nut will go on the back here to tighten this bolt right here. Okay, and it looks like all we're gonna need is 3 sockets here. First one we have is going to be the 10mm, which fits right here. Then we have 12mm and a 13. The 13 actually fits this. The 12 will be used for the actual shock. And of course, you're gonna need a ratchet. Have a 3/8 right here and a couple of wrenches, 13mm for this nut right here. That way we can secure it while we tighten this bolt. Alright guys, so before the installation process here, I'm going to go ahead and take a seat. That way we get a visual before, and then we'll take an after shot as well. That way we can see the difference. Alright, so as you can see here, I like the majority of the ball of my foot and toe on the ground on both sides. We are a little unlevel here. It's sloping that way. But I mean, this is the before. All right, let's get started here. We're gonna go with the 12mm here. Remove the shock. Be very careful pulling this out, because I would imagine this is going to drop pretty fast. I'm going to go ahead and hold my rack just to keep the bike from moving, if it does move at all. Okay, it is out. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to put my foot under just to raise the back tire a little bit to let me get this bolt completely out. Careful not to damage your threads. And it's out. So I got my foot under here. Slide it out, and there's the drop that we were expecting. So if you don't want to use your foot, because I know that might be a little bit dangerous, you could go ahead and put like a 2x4 or something like that underneath. That'll help you remove the bolt. Actually, highly suggest that instead of doing it with your foot. So be safe, people, be safe. All right, so here is the bracket here. So it's gonna go right here, basically where the shock bolted up. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, we're gonna get the bigger bolt, the thicker bolt that it came with. Slide it on through. And we are gonna take the nut that it came with. Go ahead and screw it on into place. Don't tighten it, because we are gonna make sure we get the angle right before we tighten anything. Now that I'm installing this, I realize this is gonna go through here, but we need to remove one of these nuts. That way it could slide on through. So let's do that. All right, so we're gonna use our 10mm to remove this bolt right here. There you go. Now we can put the longer one that it came with right on through. All right, so we got this decently secure. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the nut up behind here a little bit more though. So for this bolt, we got to use the 13mm. So now we're gonna have to take this bad boy and put it down here. All right, so let's take it off the stand nice and slow while I hold up the rear. Perfect. Now let me get this bolt. 12mm coming up. All right, guys, we got everything tightened a little bit. Let's go ahead and set her down and see what it looks like. All right, guys, so before we take a look at here, I will say it is best to get a second person to help you with lowering the shock into the appropriate hole there. Easiest thing to do and the most safest, and have the second person slowly take the bike out the stand, so rolling it forward while they're holding the handlebar. You should be in the rear, holding the rear up so it doesn't come crashing completely down. Once it's on two wheels, the person helping you will be able to control how high this shock goes and lowers. So they should be handling the body, you know, have their hand somewhere around the rack or the undercarriage. Be careful, don't crack your plastics, please. And it'll help lower slowly, where you can just throw that bolt in. Good to go. So you're basically letting gravity do the work while having somebody control how fast gravity wants to bring your bike all the way to the floor. All right, so here it is. Looks pretty nice in my opinion. Got the Kemimoto badge showing there. You got an angle to the shock now, which actually makes it look like it's stretched. It gives that perception that it's stretched when it's really not. It's just the shock extended. Here is a view with it on the kickstand. Now that it's on the kickstand, it actually does look lower, so you can actually tell in my opinion. All right, let's hop on the bike now. All right, so as you can see, it's very subtle. I do feel like I'm more, you know, I don't have so much of an angle on my foot like I did before. It's a little more flattened, but it's not a drastic change, which is obvious. I mean, it's only 1 inch, you know, not much of a difference height-wise. Overall, I like it. You know, I like that it's not a drastic difference for me, because like it didn't even matter for my bike to be lowered. However, I do like the angle that it has. It just makes it look a little bit longer. It just has a better look to it in my opinion. So yeah, I think this would be a good product for somebody that needs a little bit of a height adjustment. It doesn't give you much, so if you're looking for a drastic difference, I would suggest going with a shorter shock first, seeing how that feels. I'm not completely sure if it'll work out completely well with the lowering bracket plus the shock. You know, being that the shock is shorter, it might look funny. I don't know. I wish I had a shorter shock to try for you guys. Maybe the next person who does it can comment below and let us all know how it works out. They do that combo. Last thing I want to do for you guys, I want to go ahead and measure from eye to eye how long it is. So I should have did it beforehand, but anybody that has a stock shock, y'all can just take that measurement yourselves. I'm gonna get you what matters the most. So eye to eye, again, I'm going middle of the bolt here. We're looking at about 12.5 inches. So 12.5 inches from the center bolt to the center of the end bolt. All right, my riders and gliders, that's gonna wrap up the video for today. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to give it a like, share with any other Honda Navi owners. If you have the Kemimoto lowering bracket, be sure to comment below whether you like it or dislike it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, peace.